I just want to start out by talking about the fact that I'd imagine just by nature of being in a fantasy series that you undergo certain training, you have to learn certain skills just because your character knows how to do it, whether it's how to ride a horse or wield a sword or be in a fight. So I'm curious, what is the coolest skill that you now have for the rest of your life just because your character needed to know how to do it?
Well, I don't know if I'll have it for the rest of my life, but maybe if we do another season. But I really loved horse riding. I did a little bit of horse riding when I was younger, but I mean, just like one or two lessons. But to really be able to get comfortable riding a horse and galloping and cantering and taking horses through forests, it was a very incredible thing to be able to learn and to do.
One of the themes of the show that I really thought was interesting was sort of this thin line between gift and curse. Someone might be able to do something or experience something, and everyone outside their life says, "Oh my God, that's amazing! That's a gift! How lucky you are!" And then the person who has that goes like, "Not really. It kind of sucks. You guys don't know what it's like." I'm curious, what is an aspect of your business, of the entertainment industry of acting, that the rest of us might look at it and go, "Oh, that's fantastic. I love that." But you look at it and go like, "It's not as great as you would think it is."
The idea of fame,
Mhm.
which is just basically just people recognizing you for your work, which is really amazing, and that's
Mhm.
great. But I think the idea of it probably seems a bit more glamorous from the outside than the reality of it.
Is there an aspect of it in particular that you just like, if we were to experience that, we would realize it's not quite as glamorous as we think it is?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone can tell you what it's like because also everyone's journey is different. And I also feel I have to say, I feel very lucky with not only the support that I have in terms of family and friends and a team, but I also really love my fans and the interactions that we've had. So I feel quite lucky to be in the situation that I've been in.
Fair enough. And I was always a kid. I was really nerdy growing up, and I always wanted to try to sort of escape the real world. And I would do that by breaking open a fantasy novel, or watching a movie or a TV show, or whatever the case may be. So I'm sort of curious. Whenever you're on a show like this, and you're sort of emerged, surrounded by this fantasy world, and then they call cut, and you have to go home at the end of the day, is the real world just a little bit more boring than usual, having spent all day in this sort of fantastic world?
We shot for 10 months, so in a way I think the fantasy world became more reality than the
Mhm.
real world because we were just spending more time on set, or at least I
Right.
did, being on set every day. But now definitely, after a couple of months being away from it, I went and saw, my friends took me to see this castle the other day, and I texted Tom Wheeler, who's our exec producer, immediately because it brought back all that excitement of what we'd been able to see on set. And not horse riding every day and not sword fighting, you kind of, I think you miss it.
Yeah, for sure. So whenever you see like a castle that you think is cool, can you text the showrunner and be like, "Dude, I want to shoot here. Like, this is really cool. Get the cameras. Like, let's go." Like, do you wield that power?
Do I wield that power? No, sadly no.
Not with that attitude.
No, I have a really great relationship with Tom, and with Frank Miller, and I think that's a really amazing thing to be able to have. But I think the other thing is that we connect kind of as semi nerds. I am not by any means on the same level that those two are, but I still really appreciate, all the kind of nerdy things that go into it, and the castles and the knights and dressing up and all that. I really love. So we have a good little text going along.
I love that we sort of get to learn a little bit more, and we get a backstory about the Lady of the Lake, because I feel like we've gotten the King Arthur story so many different times, but we've never really gotten a true sort of fleshed out backstory about who she was. Who is another fictional character in the realm of pop culture that you would love to get a backstory of, just to know more about who that person was?
I don't know. I feel like that's a difficult question to answer because in a way it's hard to know unless someone brings it up. So I have to think a bit more about that one.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, if it happens and you think of it, then just call me and then we'll get it figured out.
I'll let you know for sure.
All right, fair enough.